Hello and welcome back to the Self-Reliance Kid. Jack and I decided that we're going to talk a little bit more about lighting a fire with a ferro rod and regular wood tinder. And we're talking about just wood tinder, sticks. Just sticks that you're going to find on the ground. Nothing special sticks either. We're not talking about using anything like pine, no pine needles, no birch bark, no pine cones, no cedar, no nothing, just plain old sticks. These happen to be tulip poplar sticks, just junk wood, you know, something that pretty much anybody's going to find anywhere in the woods, laying on the ground, even wet. That's what we're working on doing here. So we're not going to use anything but a knife. This is just a pocket knife. We'll work with a knife, a ferro rod, a striker.
A dead ferro rod.
Yeah, a dead ferro rod, just about dead. And a striker and sticks and wood. That's what we're going to do to light the fire. So that's a very hard way of going about lighting a fire with a ferro rod with no type of accelerant or char cloth or cotton balls or anything like that. We're using just wood. So let's talk a little bit about the kind of wood that you're going to have to start off with for the tinder. Right here is just scraped down tulip poplar wood from one of these sticks, and that's probably about as fine as you want to get it. That works every time. Okay, so this is plain wood. When we scrape this down, you can feel the moisture in it. It's probably 20% moisture or better. It's just plain wet.
Feels greasy.
You know, yeah, it feels greasy because it's wet. Now, to show a comparison, this little pile of dust over here I just pulled out of a dust collector, and this is table saw shavings of red oak that is probably only about 7 or 8% moisture. And you would think because this is fine, it's lofty, and it's dry, that a ferro rod would just light that up much faster than what we scraped off a stick. Well, it don't. It doesn't happen. It's wood. So the thing about wood and the difference between wood and like a cotton ball, the cotton ball fibers are microfine and there's thousands of them. So it's catching that spark and it's taking off. Wood fiber, wood's thick. The fibers of wood are real tight. I don't care if it's knocked down into this fine shavings or not. So you got a whole different thing that you're dealing with. So if you try striking ferro rod, get some oxidation off of here. If you try striking that pile of very dry shavings out of a dust collector in a normal fashion with a ferro rod, good luck. It's not going to happen any more than it's going to happen with this. So we've kind of explained a little bit about how we're going to go about doing this video. I've talked a little bit about the kind of wood. We are not using anything but sticks. And then the next segment, which we're going to move into here shortly down in the woods, is going to be Jack lighting the fire. So stay tuned, and part 2 is coming up.
Hello and welcome back to the Self-Reliance Kid. So this is, I know I just put you on pause for a little bit, and that was because I switched scenery from my garage to out here in my fire pit. And sorry for the little girls in the background. That's my sister and her friend. So if you hear them, just don't listen. So earlier we went over different types of, or the type of tinder we're going to be using, which is wood bark and wood bark only, or wood bark shavings. So right here I have a pile of wood shavings on a piece of big bark. And I have bigger feather sticks, and I say, oh, there's no things on there, but this is it's almost like styrofoam. So that'll be later. And then I have some smaller sticks with feathers on them. And down here I just have regular wood. So the whole concept of this, and the way I'm going to be doing it, is number 1, wrecking your rod, and number 2, drawing your fuel, and number 3, getting the fire started. So I'm going to start, and it's kind of going to look like the 4th of July. So I try to get some wood up around that rod. I think there's another girl over dead. So I got some flames, so I'm gonna keep on going. I try to dry out the wood as best as I can. Looks like I have a pretty good flame. Oops. And let that go. And go, and go. Try to get a feather stick going. I'll let it like that. Grab another feather stick. Get them to go. And I have a rock here that's holding the feather sticks up so they're not exactly smothering it. Try to get these lit so I can set them here. And I got one more. Get the lit. Nothing really to say, so if I don't talk, then I know why. So if you had nothing left in your fire kit, and say you were up hiking, or if you were just out bushcrafting and you didn't have any tinder left, then you just look at the wood around you. If you don't have any leaves or dead grass or pine needles, then you just do this. Let that keep going. Like I said, the wood's kind of damp out here. It's pretty cold too, so if you don't like this way, then don't do it. If you don't have to do it this way, don't do it.
Puts a pretty big hurting on your ferro rod, don't it?
Yeah, look at that.
So you don't want to use a real expensive one, because if you do about 5 or 6 fires like this, your ferro rod's gone.
So about $1 a fire.
So now you're getting going with something that can become sustainable there, huh, Jack?
So you get the point. Obviously I'm out here, and I think I'm gonna impress the girls by making them hot chocolate. So that'll have to take a while. So there you go.
So that was nothing but wood. Nothing but
Yep.
wood. And that's the whole trick, is to keep going on your little tinder pile, your scrapings, and those scrapings or tinder from the stick are wet, right, Jack?
Yeah, it was pretty moist. Now,
So the more you just stay on it with the ferro rod, that high heat from those sparks helps dry out the material. Once it reaches a certain temperature, it doesn't have any choice but to burn.
and And
So
the reason why I'm not just dropping all these sticks on here in a mess, which is kind of a good way because then you have a whole bunch of oxygen, but that way is I just want to keep a little fire going until I get big enough sticks, and then I'll do that. So there you have it, your video on pretty much no accelerants except what your fuel is. I thank you for your views and your comments, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.